Greetings. Today we continue with the Rock of Ages Part 1. We'll pick up reading in Daniel chapter 2 and verse 38 today. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thy hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom, inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall rule over all the earth. And a fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as the iron breaketh all these things, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to the other, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass thereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. So here we have a disclosure of world empires from Daniel until Christ's return. The first kingdom was that of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar himself is said to be this head of gold. After him, there's a few Babylonian kings, but then that kingdom falls to the Medo-Persians. First to Darius the Mede, then to Cyrus the Persian. This is the breast and arms of silver. After that, Greece in the form of Alexander the Great came and conquered. He is the belly and thighs of brass. Of course, after his death, his kingdom was divided into four parts, as we see elsewhere in the book of Daniel. And then finally, the fourth kingdom was Rome with its Caesars, the legs of iron. This was the last major empire that would be diluted and an admixture of the iron and clay. Now, our form of government, even in America, is patterned after the Roman government in that of Senate instead of a Caesar, or we have a elected president and such. But in most democracies around the world, you'll find it's still some form of the Roman government. So in current events, the 10 toes reach out to the second coming of Christ. We should note that in Daniel 2, this is man's view of these empires. In chapter 7, we find another vision, and that is God's view of them as beasts. So man viewed these empires in their glorious material glory, and each decreased in its glory while gaining in its strength. Notice especially Daniel 2:45, last of all mentions a stone. The stone, let's notice the description of this stone. It says the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands. This is a Hebrew idiom which expresses eternal deity, reserved as a symbol for Jesus Christ, God's anointed Savior. In the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 25, he said, "And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn or cut out stone, for if thou lift a tool upon it, thou hast polluted it." In the book of Joshua chapter 24, verses 26 and 27, it says, "And Joshua wrote these words in the book of the law of God, and took a great stone, and set it up there under an oak that was by the sanctuary of the Lord. And Joshua said unto all the people, Behold, this stone shall be a witness unto us, for it hath heard all the words of the Lord, which he spake unto us. It shall therefore be a witness unto you, lest you deny your God. And they called the name of that stone Ed, which means a witness.